Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So if you click on this video when it has around 100 views or less, then I would assume that you're the one who wakes up every day and instantly looks for news about Prototype 3. Well, if that's actually the case, then don't feel bad, because you're not alone. I myself have been doing so for nearly 6 months now. Searching for anything Prototype related videos on YouTube just simply turned into one of my daily routine. And things basically went out of control when I started to click on one of the Russian Prototype 3 videos. Then I translated the title to see what it was about. I believe you can relate to it, as I don't think that I'm the only one doing so. About 2 weeks ago though, I was getting so tired of waiting for a new video to come out, so I was just like, you know what, fuck it. Let's not waiting for other people to release a video, but instead make my own video about Prototype 3 and see what people think about it. Because why not, right? So yeah, like all of you, Prototype was probably the most fun game series I have ever experienced. I remember the first time playing Prototype 1 was around 2009. I was in an internet cafe with some of my classmates, and as I was doing some surfing, one of them came up to me and recommended me this game, saying it was pretty good. So then I was like, alright, I had nothing important to do, so let's try it. And holy shit, what an experience. I basically quit everything I was planning to do in there and played Prototype for like 4 hours straight. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish the game due to its length, and I wasn't allowed to stay overnight either, because my parents would kill me obviously. Playing it at home wasn't an option either, because my laptop at that time was very old and had one of those shitty integrated Intel graphic cards that probably lagging the hell out of your desktop when you play Minesweeper or something. Basically, everything after that Water Towers mission was a total blind to me because I had to quit the game after that part. The same shit happened 3 years later with Prototype 2. I got to play it for a few hours in that same cafe, couldn't finish it, and it even pissed me off more than the last time because the ending got spoiled for me by that same dude who recommended me Prototype 1, which is pretty ironic. And in that same year, I also played The Darkness 2, a game that has some similar concept to Prototype. Both has an anti-hero as a main protagonist, who possesses amazing powers and abilities, and both suffer the same fate with no third game on the horizon. It's a very fun game as well, probably not as fun as Prototype though, but I do recommend you playing it if you haven't. Fast forward to November 2019, I finally was able to afford a good PC in order to finish these 3 games. So right after I finished Prototype 2 and understood the whole storyline of it, my first thought was like, this is not good. Like, you cannot make a story like this and expect most of the fans to be happy, you know? No wonder why a lot of people didn't like this game as much as Prototype 1, and some even hate it outright. At that moment, I was just sitting there and be like, there must be a way to make this storyline better than this. So, for some reason, I just went to YouTube and searched for news about Prototype, hoping something useful would come up. Then I stumbled upon this video from White Light. Long story short, his videos made me understand that feeling of those people who have won Half-Life 3 for so long and turned me into this Prototype 3 obsession person like I am today. Alright, so with that out of the way, I will now move on to the main subject of this video. But to me, I believe that the chance for a sequel of a game series depends on these 3 factors. First is the status of the developer and publisher. Like, for example, if they are still around or if the publisher is willing to let them make another game. Second is people's demands, like how many people still cares about the franchise and want the next game to come out. Third is a sequel challenging, meaning if the sequel can keep most of the concept of the previous games and add more things in it for it to be good, or it needs to make a lot of change instead. I want to bring back the Darkness franchise as an example of this. So if you have played The Darkness 2 and have some information related to it, you would know that the chance for The Darkness 3 to happen is probably 0. Because first of all, the publisher of this series is 2K, the people behind some of the worst game ever, like NBA and WWE 2K20 in terms of gameplay and monetization wise. They will concentrate on releasing this shitty game every year and never take risks to let anyone make a major game like The Darkness 3. So that just goes out the window. The developer of The Darkness 2 is Digital Extremes, the folks behind Warframe, like one of the most played free-to-play game on Steam. so they will never abandon their flagship to work on another game. Second of all, I personally believe that the main reason people want to play The Darkness 3 is because they just want to know what happened after that cliffhanger ending, and not so much about the game specifically. But the main reason for why there is no sequel is simply because in order to make the third game good, they need to fix a lot of issues in The Darkness 2, like not just having a good storyline, but also changing a lot in gameplay and level design as well. Even if Starbreeze Studios, the people who made the first game, comes back to work on this third game, I think it's gonna be a hell of a challenge for them to turn it into an amazing experience. And with all of these problems, I have no hope for this franchise to be revived, to be quite honest with you. So what about Prototype 3? Do I think that there's a chance for it to come out? The good news is yes, I do believe that there's a chance for the third game to come out. The bad news is that chance is not really high. I would say about 10 to 20% based on those factors that I was talking about before. And yes, we all know by now that Radical Entertainment got shut down or significantly reduces in staff, however you want to say it. But with the story direction they went with Prototype 2, I think that having a new developer to make a sequel is probably better in my opinion. Assumingly if the publisher decided to go back to this franchise, of course. Speaking about that, I do understand that Activision has done a lot of questionable things in the past, but based on some news and events happened recently, I feel like we might have something Prototype related quite soon. I remember reading an article about Activision wanting to do more remakes and remaster to their older IPs, and after seeing Spyro, Crash and most recently Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 got remastered, I personally believe that the two Prototype game will get remastered at some point in the future. And I totally understand that a lot of you guys want to have Prototype 3 right away, but I think that in order to revive the franchise, you have to first support the remastered version if you want that to happen. And with so many people that still care for this franchise like myself, I definitely think that the number of people buying the next game will be massive, remake or sequel. One of the coolest things about Prototype is most of the gameplay features were done very well, so if there's going to be a third game, all they need to do is upgrade on the foundation and make everything more badass. At this point some of you might think, Alex Mercer is gone now with no way of bringing him back, and Prototype 2 just messed up the whole storyline, so how are they going to continue it? Well, after playing these two games, having some digging in the lores and watching a bunch of video ideas, I finally able to come up with a way to continue the story and please pretty much everyone. And no, I'm not talking about the fucking arm thing, okay? If you guys somehow like this video and want me to make more, the next video I may want to talk about is analyzing some of the theories that may or may not work. And I'll be sure to put the arm theory in that video as well. So of course, I mean there's a lot of ways to make the story work. But to me, a good sequel story first of all has to make sense and links with the story of the previous games. And if you were going to add new things in the sequel, it should be possible to explain them using the old lore without raising questions and creating major plot holes. And after that we can talk about how emotional and intense the story could be. And by following the criteria that I just mentioned, I believe my version of the story is quite possibly the most logical one without overcomplicating things in the process. And like I said, this story will please the majority of the fans of the series and it even brings some new fresh air to the newcomers. And believe it or not, I actually found a way to connect the story of a Prototype comic into my story as well. I don't want to leave it out of the storyline and deem it non-canon, because it kind of is. I know what you're thinking right now, by the way. You're interested about my storyline and want me to explain everything to you in detail, right? About that, I don't think you're gonna like the answer that I'm going to give you right now. So this is a part of the video where you feel a little bit disappointed. I'm sure most of you have watched the two most well-known Prototype 3 ideas series from Whitelight and Purposeless Rabbit Holes. Amazing work from them, by the way. And as I have already said, they are the main reason for me to get on this Prototype 3 hype train in the first place. But as cool as their videos were, there is the big downside for this. So if your video idea was good and had a lot of people that like it, eventually it's gonna get to the creator of the game, and after they saw it, the first reaction would most likely that they will not make the game in that direction. It's not that the idea wasn't good, but they just couldn't do it because if they do, people would just criticize them for being unoriginal and copying other people's work. And that's basically the reason why I can't share my vision with you guys, even though I really want to. There's a lot of things that I want to discuss in detail about my version of the story, but I just couldn't do so because there is a chance that they won't make the game in that direction. And I don't know, maybe some of you might think that I actually have no story idea at all and I just make this video to hype you guys up for no reason. Well, if you haven't noticed already, English is not my native language. I can't speak it that well and my video editing skill is very limited. But because of the passion I have with this franchise, I'm willing to put my thoughts out there to contribute something to the community. And hey, even if some days in the future I decide to share my idea with you guys, and it turns out to be shit, then at least you guys can still enjoy this gameplay footage that I make, so it's not all that bad I guess. Regardless, this is basically what my video boils down to, or I would say the reason why I want to make it. First, like I said before, I just want to know what you guys think about it. The next one is a little bit reaching, by the way. I want to make this so maybe someone in Activision HQ can watch it and contact me to know what kind of ideas I might have. Which is probably not gonna happen because I'm not fucking God Howard or Ted Newell famous or some shit. And this is literally my first video on this channel, so... Finally, I want to put my thoughts out there so maybe someone can help me bring my ideas to Activision, or at the very least find a way to share it to you guys without them knowing it. I obviously can't do it now because I'm paranoid as fuck, man. Okay, so what is the future for this franchise? Well, if there's something prototype related gonna come out in the future, then I would say there can be two possibilities. The first one could be this. A game company buys the right from Activision and they themselves will make a sequel. By the way, if I can choose a developer who can make this come true, then I would choose Insomniac Games, the people who behind Spider-Man PS4. When you look at that game, you can see a lot of similar things compared to Prototype. Both are set in New York and both have amazing traversal system. Although there's one noticeable different thing between these two games. Prototype is a heavily rated R game, whereas Spider-Man is fairly PG. Well, I did some more digging and found out another game from Insomniac called Sunset Overdrive. And even though that game is not in the same brutal level as Prototype, I think they could manage to pull it off without much problems. And some of the monsters in that game even look kinda like Hunter and Goliath. And you might disagree with the game developer that I chose, but in my opinion they are perfect for the job, based from what I've seen. But of course, if there's a different game studio that you want to mention, please comment down below. The second possibility I could think of is a remaster bundle from Prototype 1 and 2. An actual one, not like the port version from 2015. So how are they gonna make it good? Since most of the information that I want in the remaster are out there already, I think I can share my ideas with you guys. And also I don't want to blue balls you guys a second time, you know, because that would be kind of an asshole thing to do. So for the first game, I want them to remap the button on the keyboard, like in the second game. I think it's easier and better to play that way. Next, I want them to reorganize the side mission, especially the web of intrigue. Like, give me some hints to find these people, not just randomly let them appear on the map for me to consume them. If possible, I think they should put some of the move in Prototype 2 to the first game, like the air grab, to make the game more accessible. With Prototype 2, I want them to bring back the traversal system like in the first game. For example, grind down or crawl up the building. And especially the charge jump. That one has to return. I also think that they should tweak some of the perks and enemy health to make the game a bit harder. Like the immunity to normal bullets perk. That one needs to go, or be heavily nerfed. But for me, the most important feature that they need to put in the remaster in order to make a lot of people interested in it is this. There should be around 3 to 5 minutes of brand new cutscenes for both games. The point of them is to enrich the lore of the series and answer some major questions that people still have in the story. So with Prototype 1, I recommend adding a cutscene about Captain Cross and Supreme Hunter, just to make that plot clear. With Prototype 2 though, I think that you guys already know which cutscene should be added in to hype people up to no end. But if you don't, that the hint has been in this gameplay footage the whole time, if you know what I mean. There are a few more cutscenes that I want to add in the game, but it is for the build up of Prototype 3, so I can't say anything about them sadly. Nonetheless, no matter what kind of fixes or features that they plan to add in, I personally think that we as consumers need to support the remaster if there was gonna be one, so the chance for a new Prototype game to come out could be higher. One last thing before I end this video, I want to make a prediction about when a Prototype related game will come out. So after looking at the release date of the last generation console and the Biohazard bundle, plus the anniversary rules, I think that we could get a remastered version in 2022. But if we are lucky, we might even get it next year. It's kind of fucked up to think it like this, but I kind of lean toward a 2021 release because of the pandemic that is happening right now. Prototype will be a very fitting game to play when the outbreak is over, and I feel like Activision might even consider this as a brilliant marketing idea, even though it is pretty fucked up, don't get me wrong. However, if my prediction is wrong and we still didn't get anything after 2024, I will probably tell you my idea about Prototype 3, because at that point I feel like there's no chance for this franchise to return anymore. So why not having a little bit of fun with it, you know? And that's it. I think I have covered pretty much everything that I want to say. I hope you enjoyed the video like I do, as I have a lot of fun doing it. Feel free to comment your thoughts below, and I may do another video like this in the near future. So stay safe and see you in the next one.